Welcome to Comic-Con 2024 Preview Edition. Still setting up at 7 o'clock. Doors don't open until 8, 1 hour. Still setting up though, so there's all the magnificent toys. Here's some trading cards. Here's the VIP box of, like, as they would say, Silver Age stuff. Oh, look, there's an X-Men 42, only $3. Oh, look, there's a X-Men 111 and John Byrne, Neil Adams. And here is all the comic books. Marvel, Indies, DC, autographed comic books. Canopy to keep everybody nice and cool while they browse. This is post office. Someone took the signs down. You see right here. Took everything down here. So there's a theory of timing and placement for your signs. Otherwise, you're spending all this effort and getting zero exposure and going through the time and cost expense of creating signage that nobody will see. So I'm going to put together this little video piece by piece of showing examples of things, and then use the video up app to put it together more like a tutorial. So the post office on a high traffic intersection, very visible for both drivers and pedestrians. This is the proper way to put up signs without having to worry about weather and spending all this time on markers and boards. You can get a lamination machine, laminated, weather resistant, it's sturdy. Use zip ties instead of tape, easier to take off, because you do need to remove your signs after you put them up, because it has your address on it, and if you're irresponsible, then the city could go after you, because you actually, in most cities, you need to get a permit for a garage. It's a free permit, but you need to let them know you're holding a garage sale. Otherwise, if you do it every weekend, it becomes a business, and by requiring the permit, it basically tells you, or tells them and you, that it's a temporary thing, it's a once-a-year thing, or whatever the laws of your city are, so you don't have a home-based business that your neighbors are starting to complain about, like, hey, this guy's selling stuff, taking up all the parking, people are double parking in front of my house and my driveway, causing a disruption. So nobody really loves or likes garage, yard, estate sales. So using these zip ties, you just put them up and then you clip them up, and then easy to take off. Takes a couple seconds. Lamination machine, lamination paper you get on Amazon really cheap, and just put information there of what you're selling, example of cost, categories, and there you go. So placement is actually important for signs, because you can get better exposure for walking traffic of pedestrians, and do corner intersections where cars stop, not drive by. Don't do the middle of the road. So therefore people can come by, stop here, walk here at the corner. So what I recommend are churches, libraries, schools, playgrounds, areas that a lot of people, especially having a kid sale that have kids that want things. You could do the whole social media thing, Craigslist, Nextdoor, Facebook, etc. But you get professional hunters there, and they're sometimes a little annoying, because they are bargain shoppers. And if you're looking to, depending on what you're selling to make money or to clear out space, it's based on that motivation alone. So that's another tip. So another word of advice, depending where you live, is set up in an area that's actually really nice. If you can get a canopy or borrow one or buy one for added shade, look at the difference between the heat and the shade. People have an enjoyable time looking at your merchandise. Put signs in front of your place too, because people walk by. And on Amazon you get this sign for $10. Giant thing, yard sale. And then you just want people to know the dates and just have it at all four corners of your place. But the sign right here is pretty nice. So it really says, and the shade really helps a lot. Presentation is key for success. You make it look like trash, people think it's trash. So that's my advice there, and then I hope you enjoyed or enjoying all of these garage sale tips from a rookie. This is my first garage sale I just did. Another garage sale tip. This is the sun faded, this is the regular one, but it's laminated so it's weather resistant. I use zip ties as well, so that way it doesn't fall off. It's easy to read instead of handwriting. It's actually pretty cheap, affordably cheap, because the lamination paper is what, about a dime, and the zip ties are like a couple of pennies. And the colored paper, it pops, as you can see, really nicely. So what you want to do is you want to put these signs up, but the timing of it is very interesting, because if you put it up too early, people may forget about it and look at it, but if you put it later, they may say, oh. But then at the same time, it's like, oh, I had plans, and you want it early, so that way people can make plans to go to the sale. So it's a double-edged sword. So what I found interesting is I put up signs in on Wednesday, and some of them were taken down early before the sale. Today's Friday, the sale is this weekend. I find that Thursday, Friday is probably the best days to put signs up, because there's people that take it down. So this interesting thing. It could be groundskeepers. It could be delinquent youth. It could be homeless. It could be competitors. But obviously, I just talked to a competitor recently. I told him, go ahead and put your sign with mine, because a rising tide lifts all ships. If they come to yours, they'll come to mine. So in that way, I don't see competition being a problem, especially if you have good stuff. Like, you look at this. This thing has everything. It says multi-family yard sale. You kind of want to put that there, because whether it's true or not, then you could always say, oh, it's someone else's, and it becomes a negotiation tool of, oh yeah, she just stepped out and she said her prices are firm. Or if they start looking at it and casing your joint, so to speak, it doesn't look like it's all in your house, depending on what you put out there value-wise. If you put out, $20,000 worth of stuff versus nothing here is priced over $10, there's a perception there. Most people use yard sales to get rid of stuff dirt cheap, not really to do it as a business, although some do. And it's been criticized on YouTube, actually. So if you want to put things, price it to sell, and then you put all these categories. It says clothes, shoes, books, DVDs, housewares, electronics, toys, games, music, CDs, gadgets, comic books, sports cards, collectibles. So you get the collectors. It has to be true, of course. You don't have to say you have comics or cards, and then all of a sudden all of these treasure hunting collectors come and say, hey, you don't have Pokemon cards. You said you had Pokemon cards. So at the same time, you need to have some level of truth in advertising. But with this multifamily thing, you say, oh, they were supposed to bring it, or oh, they pulled out at the last minute. So there's a certain level of cover your ass, CYA, on that, but at the same time you want to be deceitful and waste people's time. So this sign, you can use it for multiple times. It's resilient. You could take them down, and you have to take your signs down because they do have your address on them, on most of your signs, so they know who put it up there. And it's sort of like littering, and it's just a responsible thing to do. So you should put it down. But I found, interestingly enough, the signs I put up for one yard sale last week were all taken down. 80% of them were taken down on the Monday morning. So that means there's no way, and it's Sunday, so there's no way, practically no way, come after the sale on Sunday, someone would take them down. And there's no way sunrise Monday, someone would take them down, both citing, well, your sale's over. So it had to have happened sometime during the sale, Saturday and Sunday, or before the sale, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So you question at that point, does the advertising for the event even get seen before or during the event? So are these efforts even worthwhile to put up, only to have them taken down near immediately? And that's a question you'd need to sort of ask. And see right here, there's these guys here that are groundskeepers. So there's a good chance that they themselves might be the ones that are instructed, keep this thoroughfare clean of clutter and advertising, because it's not what we want our city to look like. So they're just doing their job. You can't really blame them. And you can see right here, there's no garage sale signs here. So I'm not going to put any up while they're here, because they're landscaping this whole area. And it would be foolish for me to put up a sign in front of them in case it is against it, get lectured at. Or after I leave, they just tear it down. So I'm not sure. It's a waste of time and money to do that. So with the timing of putting your signs up is really, really crucial. How are people going to be aware of your sale? So some people say go online and do those mom groups on Facebook, garage sale, yard sale, Facebook marketplace, anything that sells or appeals to those people. See, I had a sign up here. I put it up on Monday and it's gone. So 20 seconds left across the street. 17. Oops. 11 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. See all this area here? I had a sign here too. And you could even see it was torn down. So the remnant zip ties are still there. So someone just yanked it off and didn't clip it properly. So I'm not sure if that's good or bad. But see this strip? This is actually a very nice area to put these signs. So you have to think of it in two ways. One, who is coming to your sale? People who walk, or two, people who drive. So for the driving part, you want to put it at stop signs so they could stare at it, have a better glance versus the middle of the block. And usually the middle of the block is in front of someone's house, and they may mistake that for the house. It's not really a smart thing to do, to put it in the middle of the block. But if you put it where people have to stop, like this intersection here, and let's say you just put this right here, people who walk up and down this way will see it. People who walk up and down this way will see it. So this is perfect position. And people who are driving this way, and it's a one-way street by the way, but this would be a good location for the sign. So putting your sign up is somewhat important, because like I was just saying, You could do the internet, but then that's more outside your neighborhood, and you might catch some people who are willing to travel. But if you want to focus on your neighborhood of the people who just walk by, as opposed to the pickers who drive, and that's fine. Depends on what you sell. If you're selling bargain stuff, that's one thing. If you're a picker yourself and reselling it, then maybe not so much. So I'm not sure what your strategy would be. I think it's case by case to list things, but you just need to bring out awareness in it and put out information. So you want to put, I didn't put it on this one, it's a different flyer, but your date, the day of the week, and the open and close time. Open and close time is interesting. Depends on how many people you have to help you, how complex it is. I think the average time starts at 7 a.m. is reasonable to 12 noon or 2, depending on how worthwhile your time is. I find everyone's done by 12 noon and you get on with your day. If I had to choose between Saturday and Sunday, I would choose Saturday. Sunday seems like it's sort of a lackluster day, but I had a 2-day sale since I had stuff out, so you could do both days. But usually you could expect half the sales on Sunday, because everyone who's wanted to go to your sale went on Saturday. Then Sunday you're fighting family day, church day, and other lazy activities. So it's hard to say which one is better. I wouldn't do Sunday only unless you just were available Sunday. I would do Saturday and instead of Sunday. I would start as early as possible, but then also your community. Sometimes there's certain laws that you need. Not only you need to get a registration to have a sale and file it with the city, but you also need to adhere to the community standards. Like there's some areas where you can't do construction or landscaping before 8 a.m. because of the noise ordinance. So you may not want to do that in your area, so you need to check that out yourself. So those are some of my garage sale tips. Pricing it to sell, because you don't want to bring that stuff in. The incremental difference between $1 and $2 is double, but in your life, do you want to just take that dollar or wait for the $2, so to speak? It's up to you. My brother had a funny story. He had a guy, he had coffee mugs, 25 cents each. Guy goes up to him and says, "Hey, will you take a dime for this coffee mug?" And my brother thought in his brain, geez, it's a quarter for this nice mug that is worth $3 to $5 at a retail store. It's a 25 center, it's brand new. I'd rather smash it than give it to you for a dime. He was thinking, because he was a little upset. That's why he doesn't do yard sales. Then he said after that, no, obviously, I don't want your dime. He didn't say, he's a very polite person, but he could think things, as we all do, and roll his eyes at people. So he said, I'm just going to donate some of the stuff. It's too much stress dealing with pennies and dimes and stuff. That's why instead of doing 25 cents each, he should do 4 for $1. My advice, only deal in full dollar increments. And if it's not worth $1, bundle it with a bunch of other stuff that's lackluster and do 2 for $1, 4 for $1, 3 for $1, or whatever. And even have a freebie table. Maybe set that up on Sunday of things that didn't sell. And you could even advertise it with your thing. Sunday, look for free gifts on Sunday. That way helps you clean up a little bit. And especially if you have kid stuff. Kids come around, maybe you want to just give some to the kids. So that's pretty much some of my advice on the yard sales. You want to have a canopy, like we talked about, if it's hot, like this. So when people shop, it's comfortable. You want to have change. I recommend 51s and $100 in 5s, and then bring a marker for the $100 bills. You could buy them on Amazon or security stuff, because I just found out, I kind of knew it already, if someone passes you a fake 100, and they do it with the stripe, that plastic stripe, American dollars, and some of the watermarking looks pretty legit. It's not that hard sometimes. But if you go to the bank and you cash it in and they say it's counterfeit, by law, they have to take that counterfeit, report it with your name attached to it not accusing you of making it, but citing that you were the last one to touch it, which you don't want that kind of drama anyway. So if you ever get a $100 bill from your yard sale, I'd say go to somewhere else, and like a yard sale or whatever, and just buy something and then cash it in for money and pass the trash, so to speak, in case it's not legit, if it doesn't spec out, because you can be out your merchandise, the change you gave, and have this fraudulent $100 bill with your name attached to it if you accept hundreds that are fake. So that's sort of my advice on that level. Then otherwise, if you have your change, bring water out so you stay hydrated, and have people watch over the thing. They say people steal from these things and shoplift, but if your stuff is under $10 and you block it so it's not a whole yard, so that there's some sort of barrier, one point of entry and exit, so people can't just walk in, wander, and take things, that's good. But again, it depends on what you're doing. If you're selling high-end jewelry, whatever you're doing, almost like a swap meet style thing, that's one thing. But if you're just trying to get rid of stuff that you kind of almost don't care about and you want to donate anyway, and you just want to purge, then you don't have to be too stressed out over that. But if you're doing this to generate money, you need to put out your best effort. So it takes almost a little bit more time to put up 20 signs than it does 10. So I used to go straight up and down there to the other side, but I found most of my signs were being taken down. I'm almost too worried to do it, but I mean, look, there's people that walk it. This is actually the perfect area to do it, and it's a Friday, and tomorrow's Saturday, the day of the sale, so I feel right now is the day to do it, so I'm going to do it. So wish me luck. I'm just rigging all of these shorts that I'm doing about yard sales, putting it together for a YouTube styled garage sale tip video, so people could learn from my mistakes and my victories.